In this tutorial, I'll be going over the basic drawing tools with you. So let's start off with the shape tool, which is right here under the rectangle tool. And as you can see, we have all these different shapes available to you. So when you have a menu like this, it's a good idea to tear off the menu so that you don't have to go into the submenus all the time. And the way that you tear that off is just to simply click right here where this little triangle is. And here you go. So that menu just makes it a lot easier to work with. So essentially we're going to take this rectangle tool and we're just going to draw a rectangle. Now this is our fill color. This is our stroke color. So I'm going to change our fill color to a green. I'm going to leave the stroke color as black. So when I draw this rectangle, it fills with green and then it is a black line outlining. Right now you don't see that it looks blue at the moment. That's just simply because this is selected. So I also would like to change the thickness of this stroke. So all I have to do is go over here to my stroke panel. I'll click on that. And as you can see here, I can increase the line weight. And so now you can really see that it is a black line. I could even change it so that it's a dashed line. I can change the corners, okay, or the caps around the corners. Okay, so here's my corners. But I'll just leave it like this. And so again, it's right here under the rectangle tool. You have all these different shapes. Now one thing I would like to interject here is the fact that there are a few little shortcuts that you'll need to know. If you are wanting to draw a square, a perfect square, hold the Shift key down. That will allow you to draw a perfect square. The same thing applies for a circle. Okay, so if you wanted a perfect circle rather than an oval like this, then you would just simply hold the Shift key down while you click and drag and create that circle. If you would like to draw the circle from the center. So for instance, when I draw this circle, it's coming from the top left-hand side. If I would like to draw that circle from the center, then all I have to do is hold down the Option key and it will draw from the center as you're seeing right now. If I add the Shift key to that, then it'll keep it as a circle rather than an oval like it is right now. So Shift and Option will allow you to get a perfect circle and it's drawn from the center. That same thing applies to our squares or our rectangle tool. So I'll hold Option and Shift and it will draw from the center. Now we do have a polygon tool here also underneath the rectangle tool. And if you would like to change the number of sides in the polygon, then you would just simply use your arrow keys on your keyboard. So as you're clicking and dragging, you would increase the number of sides by just clicking on the up arrow or decrease the number of sides by clicking on the down arrow. This is a nice easy way to make a triangle. Now we can rearrange and overlap these shapes. So what I'm going to do just to make things a little bit easier is I'm going to show you how to change the fill color. So I'm going to change this circle's fill color to a magenta. And watch what happens. I'm going to take my selection tool right here and I'm going to just simply move it over so that it's overlapping. But what I may want to do is have this circle in back of this square. So all I would do is go to my object menu and I would go to the arrange menu where it says bring to front, bring forward, send back, or send to back. So when you hit send backwards, it's only going back one spot. But if I want to send it to the back, it'll send it all the way to the back underneath every object. So I'm selecting send to back because I'm not quite sure where this object is in the order of things. So that's a nice, really easy way to reorder your objects. So what we're going to have you do is create a series of objects right now. And we're going to take the rectangle tool, and I'm going to have you click and drag and make a rectangle. Once you've created your rectangle, I'd like for you to change the color of the rectangle simply by going to this fill color, double click the fill color, and let's make it a green. Once you've made it green, we're going to change the stroke weight, and again it should just be right here in your panels. Just click on the stroke panel, it is right here. We want to increase the weight to 10, okay, so we're going to make it 10 points thick. Once you've done that, then we're going to create, again using that rectangle tool, but now we're going to make a square. So I want you to hold the Shift key down so that you make a perfect square. Once you've made that perfect square, we're going to then take the ellipse tool. So we're going to make a circle, but this time we're not just going to make any old circle, we're going to make a circle from the middle, and it's going to be a perfect circle. So you're going to hold down your Option and your Shift key at the same time, and then you're going to draw a circle. Then you're going to go ahead and change that color of the circle by double-clicking the fill. We're going to make that circle red. Then we're going to take your polygon tool, and we are going to make a triangle. So I'm going to take the polygon tool, I'm going to make this a triangle, and your polygon tool may look a little different. It may look something like this at first. So the way to change the number of sides is to, again, while you're clicking and dragging and drawing this, you have to use your down arrow on your keyboard. So you're going to make a triangle. As you can see, you can rotate the triangle and make it any size you want. Go ahead and double click on the fill and change that triangle color to a blue. Once you've done that, we have a rectangle, we have a square, a perfect circle, and a triangle. Then what I'd like you to do is start to rearrange them. So let's overlap them first. Okay, this rectangle was drawn first, so it should be at the bottom. Then next we drew this square, so it should be underneath the, not only the triangle, but the circle. So I'll move the circle over here so you can see it a little bit. So now what you're going to do is rearrange this so that the circle itself is all the way at the bottom. So we're just going to select the circle. You're going to go to the Object menu, going to go to Arrange, and Send to Back. Then I would like to bring this square to the front. So again, I'm going to select the square, go to the Object menu, go to Arrange, and Bring to Front. All right. So now we have reordered our objects. Once you have completed this, I'd like for you to call me over and I will do a screen check for you. Now before moving on, you're going to want to make sure that I've screen checked your work that is worth points. And once you've gotten the go-ahead from me, you can move on in this tutorial. I'm going to show you now how to transform some of these objects. So I'm going to take my triangle here and I'm going to transform that. The way that I would transform that is just, again, in the Object menu, and right above Arrange we have Transform. So as you can see, I can change this several different ways. I can rotate it, I can reflect it, which simply means, and I'll do that for you, it simply means that it's almost like looking in the mirror, and you can decide which axis to put it on, and it actually shows you. So I'll do it on the vertical axis. Okay, and it just basically flipped this triangle on the vertical axis. So the transform of objects is in, again, the Object menu in Transform. Now, One last tool that I wanted to show you in this object menu is the star tool. Again, the star tool, when you select that, it comes out with about 5 points, but you can increase the number of points if you'd like. Again, when you are clicking and dragging this to draw the star tool, just use the up or down arrows and you can increase the number of spokes in this star. Okay, this is a great way to maybe make hubcaps for your car drawing, which is something you're going to be doing soon. So what you're going to do is basically add a star to this drawing, and I'd like for you to increase the number of points that the star has. You don't necessarily have to go this much, but definitely increase it more than 5.